Hey family, hey family, hey family. It is your girl. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all look? I feel like I'm here. I feel like I'm all over the place right now. How y'all doing? It is your girl, Michelle Allen Franklin, honey. Michelle D.I., Mrs. Divine Intervention herself, honey. You know there are no coincidences in this world. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Mrs. Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl is always giving you the good information, honey. The things that you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? It's just, it is Miss Community Builder, honey, because you know your girl is always giving you the good information, the things that you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions. Y'all, I was on TikTok doing Bible study with Mr. Reggie Taylor, my good friend, Mr. Reggie Taylor, beautiful spirit, and left from there. And I don't know who this young man is. His name says Moses. I'm trying to make sure it says Maddox or Matlock or something like that. I don't know. He on TikTok. He had this picture up. I feel like I want to show y'all the picture. I don't even know if you can see it. You're not going to be able to see it. Dang, you're not going to be able to see it. I feel like I wanted to show you the picture. He's laid in the bed. He had an altercation with police. Police, uh, some stop or something. Police did what they did. But this man is laying in the bed, head to the side. He's out of it. Tubes down his mouth and down his throat, just his whole arm. They tore the ligaments and thing in his arm. He couldn't move his arm for over a year. Started talking and praying to God, and he is on the live giving his testimony. I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. I don't know who this man is, but it was touching my soul, my spirit. So I couldn't stop watching. I was like, dang it, I gotta go. You know your girl loves a good testimony service, honey. I miss testimony. I miss testimony. I miss the old church. I don't miss the crazy and some of the crazy that was going on with the old church, but I do miss testimony service that we used to have back in the day with the old church. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I can't even. He said he started talking and praying to God. He said this preacher told him, this is how you talk to God. He said he had never talked to God before. And he said somebody told him, just talk to him like you having a conversation. That's what I always tell people. He just talk to him like you talking, like I'm talking to you right now. That's how I talk to God. I talk to him just like I'm talking to you right now. Yes. He hears all your thoughts and were you trying to be all fancy and, oh Lord, holier than, no, you don't have to do that. He knows you. He knows your personality. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to make anything up. Whatever you want to say. So he said he started talking to him. And he said I just started having a conversation with him. And he said the first time that I did it, he said I felt silly, he said. And he said, but I kept doing it. He said, in a couple of weeks passed, and before I know it, I was talking to him all the time, and it just felt regular. And he said he was talking to him, and he said he felt like a weight was lifted off of his chest. That's one of the things, like, people don't understand how simple this is. It's just like when you get stuff off of you and you give it to your Father. Mm. Mm. I left Bible study. Reggie was talking about wounds from the father wounds. And then I come to this young man and he talking about talking to his father, talking to the Father, honey. You give it and you talk to your Father. He said, I felt like a weight was lifted off of my chest. I started feeling better, just like this weight was being lifted off me. So he said he went back. They did an x-ray. They told him, they said, man, we're going to have to go ahead and take this arm. He said, man, it's not doing anything but weighing you down. We can go ahead and get you a good prosthetic, and get you, we're going to hook you up. But you got to get this arm off of you, or you're going to end up, killing yourself. You're going to get an infection, and it's not going to be good. You got to get this thing off of you. So he said he went on and told the people, all right, man. All right, no problem. Right? Sorry. So he said he told the people no problem. He told the doctors no problem. He said he'd go home, go to bed. The next morning, he said he woke up. He said he went back. He said the stretch. He said normally he would have to take the hand and move the arm, all of this stuff like that, right? He said he took his arm and he stretched up for that good morning stretch, and realized that his arm was moving. It's gonna go over somebody's head. I don't know what kind of situation that you're on. I don't know this man. I don't even know why God is allowing me to say this, but somebody out there must need this miracle. Somebody out there must need to know that God still exists. That's my purpose. I just want to come out and I just want to show you that, what Big Mama and them was talking about. what Mama and them was crying and praying for, who Mama and them was crying and praying to, still exists, and he still exists for you. Like, straight up. And it's just as simple as having your own relationship with him. Reggie talked about that tonight. Having your own relationship with God. Y'all know it was all down my timeline last week. My oldest just turned 29. I probably was about 28. I feel like I joined church when I was 16. Excuse me. I walked down and gave my life to Christ at 16, not where anybody had to tell me, but that I wanted to do it. I felt the Holy Spirit and I moved, right? The pastor was preaching about Lot. Lot and his wife, God gave them grace. He was going to destroy the city. And he told them, y'all pack up. Y'all get up out of here. Y'all go, because Lot had been faithful. So God spared his family and him. Y'all go ahead and y'all go. My only thing that I'm telling y'all, don't look back. Don't look back. Keep going. Move forward. This thing just hit me, y'all. Don't look back. That was the message Pastor Odell Lee preached the day that I got saved. My cousin was in the choir and they sung The Reason Why I Sing, Kirk Franklin. It was Kirk Franklin's first album. That was his first release from his song, The Reason Why We Sing. And then the pastor preached, don't look back. What did Lot's wife do? It's a comedian that talk about Lot in this. I think that was Eddie Griffin talking about Lot's wife was like, what Jesus say? I don't care about what Jesus said. I want to see what's going on. I got to see is that how we do? Are we not being obedient to God? We got to have our own thing, right? Hold with the neck roll. I got to see what's going on. And turned around and looked, and what happened? She turned to stone. Oh, man. Y'all should look up. I can't do it right now. Y'all should look up Eddie Griffin and the story about Lot's wife. It's hilarious. He said Lot turned around. I'm sure gonna miss you. Look, felt her. And he kept moving. Baby, it's some things in some situations. That's what just dropped in my spirit. It's some things in some situations. Hey, Danny Marie, girl. It's some things in some situations where God is telling you to move, honey. We are so busy looking back. That's why we're talking about anxiety tonight. We're so busy looking back. We're trying to handle it in ourselves instead of turning it over to God. We're trying to handle it ourselves. What does that cause you? A whole lot of unnecessary stress, honey. A whole lot of unnecessary stress. Panic attacks. Holding stuff in. Yes. Panic attacks, all of it. Mm-mm. We're talking anxiety tonight. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. It is May. Blessings and prayers to you, boo. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, the whole month of May, from May the 1st to May the 31st. Anxiety is one of the things that generally accompanies depression. A lot of people don't know that they are having anxiety because, again, we're so used to, I call it going and being and doing, right? We're so used to going and being and doing, we don't realize that all of these things are playing a role together. We're just going. So, anxiety, what is it? It's an emotion characterized by feelings of tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes, like your blood pressure increasing. Your heartbeat might get a little bit rapid. You might have some unexplained aches and pains, right? All of these things, we're trying to hold things on. A lot of people will have GI issues where you have nausea, uh, irritable bowel syndrome. You'll have diarrhea, right? All these things, because what are we doing? We're trying to hold it in. So tonight we're talking anxiety. The whole month I'm about to say December. The whole month of May, we are talking about all things mental health as it relates to depression, anxiety, PTSD, and panic attacks. So tonight is Know Your Numbers. I suffered for 2 years because I didn't know my numbers. I didn't know when I tested 2 years later after I started having depression that I was in the 20s. I didn't know that I was in the 20s for anxiety. Okay. So this is my biggest thing. If you don't know where you are, if you don't know, how you going to fix it? How are we going to fix it if we don't know? And a lot of times we will take care of everyone else before we take care of ourselves, right? We'll take care of everyone else before we take care of ourselves. And so that's my goal. I feel like once I knew, and this is just what we do. I mean, it is what it is. Once I knew, I still didn't do what I was supposed to do initially. I had to suffer. I had to suffer a little bit longer before I started doing what I'm supposed to do. So my prayer for you is that you don't do that. Right? That you know where you are, you know your numbers, and then you follow up. You see somebody, you talk to somebody, you talk to your doctor, depending on where you are. Okay? Now, with anxiety and depression and any symptom that you're having, if you're having this symptom longer than 2 weeks, this is a difference. I'm giving you time, get a pen, because we're going to do this. We're going to do this anxiety screening, okay? Get a pen and get a paper. Get a pen, or you can use your phone, or whatever you want to do. But get a pen and get your paper. Whenever you're having these symptoms for longer than 2 weeks, that is your cue. All of these could happen at any given time, and you can be feeling some kind of way for a day or two. Oh, I didn't sleep well last night. I'm feeling some kind of way. That is normal, right? What you want to do is you want to pay attention to your body, right? Because we tend to ignore, as well as, oh, it's just this. Oh, it's only that. Stop assuming. Pay attention to your body. And if this has been going on with you for longer than 2 weeks, then we're going to do something different, okay? We're going to do something different. All right. Number one. Now, you're going to give yourself a 0 if this is not at all. We're only thinking about the last 2 weeks. This is a 0 if this is not, you've never felt this at all. It's a 1 if you felt it over several days. It's a 2 if it's more than half the days. And it's a 3 if it's nearly every day. All right. So number one, have you been feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge? Have you had feelings of being nervous, anxious, or on edge for the past 2 weeks? 0 is not at all. 1 is several days. 2 is more than half the days. 3 is nearly every day. Number 2, not being able to stop or control worrying. Have you been having a feeling that you can't stop or control the worrying? 0 is not at all. 1 is several days. 2 is more than half the days. 3 is nearly every day. This is only for the past 2 weeks, okay? Number 3, feelings that you're worrying too much about different things. Have you been feeling like you're worrying too much about different things? 0 is not at all. 1, several days. 2, more than half the days. 3, nearly every day. Number 4, have you had trouble relaxing? Have you had trouble relaxing? 0, not at all. 1, several days. 2, more than half the days. 3, nearly every day. Number 5, being so restless that you can hardly sit still. Have you felt like you've been being so restless that you can hardly sit still? That's one of those things where you feel like you're tired and you sit down and then you're like, oh no, let me get up and go do. Right? So restless that it's hard to sit down. Not at all. 0. 1 is several days. 2, more than half the days. 3, nearly every day. Number 6, being easily aggravated or irritated. Being annoyed or irritated. Being easily annoyed or irritated. I don't know why my screen got blurry. I'm sorry. I should know these by heart. Not at all. Several days is 1. 2 is more than half the days. 3 is nearly every day. The last one is number 7, feeling afraid as if something awful is going to happen. Have you been feeling afraid or feeling like something awful is going to happen? This is not at all. 1 is several days. 2, more than half the days. 3, nearly every day. Now, last one, if you checked any of these, how difficult has it made your day-to-day? How difficult has it made your day-to-day, whether you're going to work, taking care of things at home, just going around? Like, how difficult has it made your day-to-day? Not difficult at all. Somewhat difficult, very difficult, or extremely difficult. Now, I want you to add up the 7. I want you to add them up, and we're going to go over the responses. Oh, I feel like my screen is so fuzzy. Now, if you scored from 0 to 4, now you added everything up, and you get your total. If you scored 0 to 4, that is no risk at all. That's no risk at all. You're good. That's a no to low risk at all. None. 0 to 4. 5 to 9 is mild anxiety. 5 to 9 is mild anxiety. Now, this is where you want to make sure. This is where you want to make sure that you are talking to your doctor at least, right? Just mention to your doctor, I was online, I did a screening, I scored, whatever between 5 and 9. I have this, mild anxiety. They will likely retest you, right? They may likely retest you and then follow back up, right, with your doctor. If it's still the same, or it may be higher, depending, again, if it's the 2 weeks, there'll be, if your circumstances have changed, whatever the reason is that you're having the anxiety, if that's gotten better, then your score may go down, right? But if things are getting worse, almost like a little snowball effect, right, then you may shift up. And so you always want to check back and make sure that you're improving within the 4-week span, okay, within 1 month. If you score from 10 to 14, that is moderate, okay? That's moderate anxiety. Between 10 and 14 is moderate anxiety, and you want to make sure that you have, definitely, this is not optional at this point. Moderate is not optional. You want to make sure that you're talking to your primary care doctor. You're actively getting treatment at this point. You may want to start seeing a therapist, right? Because again, just like this young man that had some things on his chest that, he started talking to God about, when you have stuff that you haven't dealt with, right? For me, it was my big mama passed. And then 3 months later, less than 3 months later, my stepfather passed. And so to have life altering things happen, to have a loss of somebody pass away, a loss of job, that's grief, right? Grief is simply a loss of relationship, right? A loss of future. Something happened with your kids. Maybe your kids are about to graduate from school and now all of a sudden they move out and you're in the home by yourself and you don't even know who you are anymore. Those type of things can cause anxiety. Maybe you're in a new job or maybe you're working and life has been life and work is different. Maybe you get a new manager. Y'all are not seeing eye to eye. Anything could happen, right? Whatever the stress is, life is life. So you want to make sure that you're talking to somebody. You don't hold it in. This is go to somebody you trust. A lot of people think, or some people have seen therapists in their lifetime and they're like, you know what? That therapist didn't work out. Therapy doesn't work. What I want to suggest to you, very, very important, not all therapists are created equal. Right? There are different levels of schooling that people have, different training, right, that people may have. And some people are counselors, right? Some people are actual psychologists, right? And so, and depending on what level and how long they've had training and their history themselves. So, taking all things into consideration, another thing to remember is I got 10 things going on in my mind. I'm sorry. Another thing to remember is I was saying not everybody is created equal, but some therapists specialize in different things. And so a lot of times when you're having anxiety, depression, whatever about different things, a lot of it stems from some things that you may be holding in from your childhood, right? 9 times out of 10, whatever's going on with you now, even though it's surfacing and it's showing up now in the present, a lot of times it has to do with childhood trauma or childhood abandonment, childhood issues that you've never dealt with, right? That's one of the biggest things that I found out. I didn't even know all these things were there until I started unpacking them. I call it what's in the pit of your belly. Right? It's because it's down. You've been going for so long that you don't even realize it's in there, right? So again, all therapists are not created equal. So some therapists specialize in childhood trauma. Some specialize in domestic violence. Some specialize in trauma. You know what I mean? And in addiction. Different things. And so you want to make sure when you looking up your therapist or you looking for someone, that you look for someone that is trained in the things that you need, right? In the areas that you need. Because again, all therapists are not created equal. And so again, 10 to 14 is moderate. Further evaluation is recommended, definitely. You may at this point want to consider medication and not just talking to somebody. So, and then diet, of course, right? exercise. It's all things that you can do. Practicing gratitude. Very simple things. Not everything you have to do needs to require medication, right? But just releasing the healthy endorphins, listening to good music, stopping the pattern of how you're thinking, right? So you hear some people call it stinking thinking. A lot of times what happens with anxiety is that you get so caught up in your thoughts, right? And we're going to talk about panic attacks tomorrow, and we'll go into this a little bit more. But you get so caught up in your thoughts that you get stuck. And then it just loops. It loops. You tell yourself a story. Does the story exist? Mm-mm. But you have convinced yourself so much that it happened, it exists, and you get yourself so worked up before anything even happens. And so it is practicing breathing, practicing meditation, practicing mindfulness, right? Why am I thinking this? What am I thinking? Is that actually true? Did that actually happen? Is that actually going to happen? And so, tremendous difference. You have anything 15 and above. If you scored 15 and above on this anxiety scale, that is severe. That is, do not pass. Look, do not pass go. You do not collect $200. Go to your doctor. This is not optional. Okay. You have been going. It's almost like you're going on a wheel before it breaks and it's thinning out. You're going. You're at a severe level. You don't want to start having panic attacks, right? Like that's what happened to me. You don't want to start having panic attacks because you haven't dealt with just the anxiety. So severe, that is a treatment plan. Okay. So at this level, you may see a psychiatrist, not just a psychologist, right? Not just a therapist. A psychiatrist is the person who's going to give you the medication. So your doctor, your primary care doctor, may start you on medication, but he may go ahead and refer you to a psychiatrist if it's going to be a long-term situation, especially if it's severe. Focus assessments is what you need. This is a medicational level where it's really not optional. Is it forever? Not so much. So understand that you just might need medicine to get you to a good place. When you start implementing these changes and these things that we talked about, you're eating better, diet, exercise, getting good sleep, right? All these things are affected and all of them play a role. And so once you start implementing, of course, you start feeling better. You make him work to a point where you get off of your medication with your doctor. Don't be like your girl and just take yourself off of medication. Oh my gosh, I was so famous for, I promise you, this is why I started teaching, guys, because I didn't know. I didn't know. I've been a nurse for 23 years, but mental health was not my thing, okay? Break your leg, I'll come pat you up. I'm rehab. I'm, all of the other things. I didn't know this in depth about this part, okay? I didn't know. This was not my specialty. So I would feel better. I'd be taking my meds. I was like, I'm cured. I feel better. I stopped taking them. And then what happens? Sure. I'd be back down in the valley, not understanding. And then it would take me a minute to figure out that why am I feeling so bad? I don't even know. Like, why am I feeling like this? I wouldn't even know, right? If you want to you're at a point where you need medication, and then to understand, again, breaking the stigma that there's no shame in that. Sometimes life is life and it has life for so long. I realized this because I was like, why all of a sudden does it feel like I got something that I could handle that didn't used to be a big deal? Now all of a sudden, why is it a big deal now? Well, when you've been going and being and doing for so long, right? And if you think about most people, stuff starts in childhood again. So you've been going and being and doing and just going and being, and you got your superwoman cape, you got your Superman cape, and you're going and you're being and you're doing, and you got to do this and you got to take care of the kids and got to do this. We got to take care and we got to go to school and we got to go to work. You're going, and I gotta be this, and I gotta be this for this person. I gotta be this. Are you taking care of yourself? You're not even on the list. So nope, you're doing all this stuff. You're not filling up your tank. You empty, right? And so why? Yeah, you're gonna get to a tipping point. You're gonna get to a breaking point. You going and going and going and going and going. Yeah, you gonna wear out, right? After years and years and years and years, however long you've been doing this. So don't feel any kind of way about, damn, I'm tired. Tired. You've been carrying the weight of the world on you for how long? It's okay to be tired and put some stuff down, right? You done worked yourself up, so now you're at severe. So this is not optional, okay? Because again, then sometimes their levels, your levels get low. And so your body needs to bring your levels back up. That's what the medication is for. And diet, exercise, and all that will help you to release the natural endorphins. But sometimes when you're this severely low, it's just not going to do it on its own. So I need you to understand that that's okay, right? Because at this point, you're in survival mode. You're in survival mode. I felt like I was drowning, and I was always like, everything was always like right here. Like I was just barely making it. There's no need to pretend and to fake anymore, guys. Like it's not even necessary. Just go make an appointment with your primary care doctor. They may start you on some medicine. They definitely will give you a referral, right? Follow up with the therapist. I cannot even tell you how my life has changed since I have seen my therapist. Blessing. Again, finding the right one. What else do we have? There's another therapy out there, and I'm going to get into the different types of therapies that you can take for depression and anxiety. We're just going to do a day of different types of therapies and why and which ones may be good. I just try to bring information to you that you may not get anywhere else. I don't want to give you general information. I want to give you very specific information. And so that's why I'm breaking it down. We have the whole month of May. We're going to cover a lot of information. Because for me, I just feel like a lot of people that I know, a lot of professionals, we don't have this, we don't have time, right? We don't have time to put ourselves on the list. So I'm telling you, at the end of the day, take some time and love on yourself and put yourself on the list. If you need some help, honey, I'm here. You can inbox me and let me know. I can help you, let you know where you are. That's one of the things that I do in my program. You don't necessarily have to start a program. I'm not soliciting for a program, right? I just need you to be in a good place. That's the point. That's the purpose. We need to get you to a good place because we need you. Your family needs you, right? Whatever you're supposed to be doing in this world, walking in purpose. It was hard for me to show up every day, right? It was hard. I did it. And when I was out and doing things, I was fine. But when I got home or on my way to, I was having panic attacks in the morning. I couldn't make it to work on time. It was like the running joke at the job. Like, I'm going to show you late again. At one period of point in time, when it first started back in 2015, 2016, ask Sharon Richards and Stephanie Daniels what time I would be coming to work. I had to be to work. When I first started, I was at work. I had to be to work at 8. It's not going to work. I pushed it back to 8:30. Not going to work. I pushed it back to 9 o'clock. When I was having the panic attacks in the morning, I really didn't know what all was going on because this is really before I really realized how in-depth it was. I didn't realize I would be driving to work and I would see the white truck that my stepfather used to drive. He had a white Blazer, and that would set me into a space, and then I would be or even some days in here, because again, with the depression, it would feel like I was moving fast, but I was like a freaking turtle. I was like the daggone turtle in the little children's story. Like, I think I'm moving fast, like I'm running this race. I'm on my way. I'm thinking I'm moving like the little tortoise, like the hare. I'm moving like the tortoise, baby, just slow motion. Okay? So it is like these things will be happening. You so used to doing things the way that you've been doing them that you really in your mind think that you still are doing things the way, like, you don't understand how much time has passed. You're like, dang, it was just 7 and it's 9. You done blink the eye and it's 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, I'm late. And then I didn't have any I didn't even have any like rush about me. Like, I felt like I was rushing, but I wasn't. I didn't have the energy. You're so tired, right? And so again, that's why I started talking about this, because honey, it's not the most, I mean, who wants to say this, right? Who wants to, like, for real? But again, there are 1 in 5 people, 1 in 5, adults that are suffering with some type of mental something, right? It's a lot of people. Look at when you go to work tomorrow. Look at when you go to the Walmart. Look when you go to the ballpark. Look at the football stadium. How many people in there? 1 in 5. That's just the people that we know of. I really think it's half. I promise you I do. Because that's just the people that we know of. People are walking around. You're walking around suffering. And it's not necessary. You don't have to do that. You do have a choice to do something different. That's all I want you to know and understand. Like, you don't have to suffer. You're not alone. I promise you, you're not the only one. Like, I had no idea. Not the most whatever to say, but guess what? I'm functional. It's better this than to be trying to be functional and you trying to figure out why you're not functional, and then you feeling some kind of way about not being functional, and then it's just a terrible roller coaster cycle, right? And so again, we took the anxiety test. If you missed it, please go back and watch the replay. You know your girl got everything on the YouTube channel, Reflections, Choosing Me, Guilt Free. Go on and subscribe while you're over there. Look, go on and subscribe. Help your girl out while you're over there. But I always say, honey, I don't believe in coincidences. And everybody is not going to see the slide. There's 8 billion people in this world. So if you're seeing it, it's not a coincidence. Either it's for you, or it's for somebody that you love, or it's for both of y'all, right? And if you don't need it today, you probably gonna need it tomorrow. Right? My big mama used to say, keep living. Keep living. I would have never thought. One of my cousins been having anxiety and panic attacks since we were little. And I always remember talking to her about that, like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. Oh my goodness. I would have never thought. And so I'm grateful that the Lord has given me this platform. I'm grateful that the Lord has made it so that your girl ain't embarrassed about nothing, because, honey, the transparency is real. Because for me, I'm going to Romans and 8 and 28, everything. The good, the bad, and the crazy, honey, it's all working together. So there's no shame here. If I can help one person, I'm coming for the one. Everybody else going to be talking. Y'all going to be talking anyway. They're going to be talking anyway. So give them something to talk about. That's how I'm living my life. I pray that this has helped you, honey. Your girl is coming on at different times during the day. I wish I could tell you a time. I can't. I feel like every time I say a time, something happens with the computer. The internet ain't working. It's jumpy and funky. Like, I don't even know what's happening. I call him the devil. He gets really busy when I get to teaching like this. He wants you to stay stuck, but your girl is going to persevere and press through regardless. So just give me some time. I'll be on here. If I'm not here live, Your girl is posting something, a video or something for you to deal with your mental health. All this month, honey. The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. That is from the 1st to the 31st. Every year. You'll see it again in October. It is Mental Illness Awareness Week, the first week in October. And so you'll see it again in October. But your girl do this 365. Okay? We gets deep with the mind, the body, the spirit, and emotions. Going over there to the YouTube channel, Reflections, Choosing Me, Guilt Free, honey. It's a whole bunch of stuff on there. Last year, this time, my nephew had just passed away. I was very in a helpless feeling and just thought about what can combat hopelessness, the hopelessness that's out there in the world, and that's faith. I truly believe the foundation and my foundation of faith, no matter how dark it gets, I just want to tell you, no matter how dark it gets, if you just get you a foundation of faith and lean on it, stand on that thing, keep walking. It might be dark right now. You might be in some unfamiliar territory, right? May not be feeling yourself, but you can get back to, or even learn to be different. Because I think sometimes we're trying to get back to how we used to be, right? That was one of the things that I know for sure. I tried to get back to, I want to go back to feeling how I used to feel. Well, my big mama and my dad passed. A part of my heart is gone. I'm not the same. Right? We're not the same after some things have happened to us. It's going to shift you. It's going to change you a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you can't still live. God didn't put us here to suffer, right? Jesus came that we may have life and we may have it abundantly. And so it is, okay, Lord, what lesson is this? How am I supposed to shift? Who's going to need this? Because it's not punishment. God is not a just because God. There's a song that says he's only breaking you piece by piece to put you back together again. That's all that it is. I want you to find some peace and some encouragement in that. Don't be ashamed of it, honey. Get the help that you need because it is available. If by chance you're having any crazy suicidal thoughts, you're feeling some kind of way just outside of yourself, 988 is the National Mental Health Hotline. 988. It doesn't matter what city you're in across the United States. 988 is a mental health line, and it will give you resources in your zip code. United States wide, okay? All right. Look, I've come and done what I'm supposed to do for tonight. I feel empty. I feel like Tabitha Brown. Go on about your business. No. Your girl like Miss Celeste Brown, honey. I aspire to inspire until I expire. That's what I'm doing, honey. I aspire to inspire until I expire. I jumped on here so fast because I was late watching Boyfriend. I was talking about it at the beginning. I didn't put my intro and my outro down at the bottom, so I don't have it tonight. It's fine. Look, it's fine. I'm going to come on. It's not going to be perfect. The lighting might be messed up. I don't care about none of it. My hair going to be crazy sticking up. I don't care about none of it. I'm coming for the one. I don't care what it looks like. The message, I'm coming for the one. That's it. Because I needed somebody to come for me. Right? I'm grateful somebody came for me. All right, sweetie. Look, we'll be back. See y'all tomorrow.